what church is meant to be. Come on, we'll go down the path. That's why we waited. If you all want to carry on chatting, absolutely fine. Stephen and I'm sure we could imbibe on a little journey down the quay. Good morning, everybody.
Good morning.
Oh dear. Good morning, everybody.
Good morning.
Brilliant, absolutely wonderful. Thank you all for joining us today here at Paul Christian Spiritualist Church for our Sunday morning divine service. A great delight to welcome back to our platform from Portsmouth, Mr. Stephen Mager, who also, those of you who are IT literate, may have seen him last night as well, working on behalf of the church. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And we look forward to your service today, Stephen. So, if we could just have a quick sense check. All mobiles turned off, please. Yeah, see, I knew. Psychic. There you go. And also, just a reminder as well that if Stephen should come to you during the evidential mediumship, we'd like a nice, clear response. All right? It's a bit like a telephone. You don't sit at home nodding on the telephone. So, yes, Stephen. No, Stephen. Should we have a go?
Yes, Stephen. No, Stephen.
See? Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. You'll get a certificate at the end of this service. Do you realise that? Right, without further ado, let's get down to the business of the day. Sir, if I may ask you for the opening blessing. Thank you.
If you'd like to join me, I have an invocation that I've written, which I think is appropriate. Throughout the ages, people have given their lives for our freedom. We must not allow ourselves to give up our freedoms for our life. We call upon the higher power of our Creator to bless us with a clear mind and clear insights, to bless us with an unconquerable will and a courageous heart, and to help us recognize ourselves and each other as worthy of these blessings. We look to build a future where we live in harmony with natural and unchanging laws written into the fabric of creation, rather than the temporal laws made by men. Through these efforts, we wish to bring the light into even the darkest of souls, to banish the evils that have corrupted our human family, to establish a world of peace without fear, a world of love without hate. And we hope in the years to come, future generations look back in reverence to a time where we, the people of Earth, establish for ourselves a community of shared love, peace and unity, amid the turmoil created by greed, anger and selfishness. That these future generations live by the examples that we are duty-bound to set for our children today. And that we're grateful for the opportunity to join together today, and we do so united by a cause, our spiritual freedom. Amen.
Amen. Beautiful, Stephen. Thank you. Now, if you would care to, please join in with saying the Lord's Prayer. Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thine will be done, on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. And leave us not when in temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, the power and the glory, forever and ever. Amen. Thank you. We now come into that part of the service where we can each and every one of us practice our divine and God-given right to exercise the art and the craft and the energy of healing. We all give healing each and every day of our lives through just a smile, a word, a conversation. All these acts do never go unnoticed. They are there, part of our soul journey. So during this time, you're invited to send out your love, because that is the easiest name to think of healing as. Send out your love to wherever you feel drawn, be it the environment, be it Mother Nature, be it our own homes, our families, our friends, our loved ones, and never forgetting ourselves also. For to ask is to receive. So we leave you alone now, just for this short time, some gentle music to practice this inherent and divine gift that we all possess. God bless you all. Divine and gracious Spirit, Creator and Architect of all things, we thank you for this knowledge, this understanding, that to link into the divine, to express this healing energy, is part of our path, our soul's journey, and the reason why we are here on this earth at this time. And we thank you for this honour and privilege to be here to make that difference. Amen. Move on to our first piece of the music this morning, which is All Creatures of Our God and King. If you wish to join in and sing along with it, absolutely fine. If you're a bit shy, absolutely fine. But please enjoy this first piece of music today. Creatures I'll now hand over to Stephen for his reading and address for today. So, Stephen, sir, over to you. Thank you. Thank you.
I want to begin by reading a poem called My Law by Tiemi Ranapiri, attributed to a Maori. The sun may be clouded, yet ever the sun will sweep on its course till the cycle is run. And when into chaos the system is hurled, again shall the builder reshape a new world. Your path may be clouded, uncertain your goal. Move on, for your orbit is fixed to your soul. And though it may lead into darkness of night, the torch of the builder shall give it new light. You were, you will be, know this while you are. Your spirit has travelled both long and afar. It came from the source, and to the source it returns. The spark which was lighted eternally burns. It slept in a jewel, it leapt in a wave. It roamed in the forest, and it rose from the grave. It took on strange garbs for long eons of years, and now in the soul of yourself it appears. From body to body your spirit speeds on. It seeks a new form when the old one is gone. And the form that it finds is the fabric you wrought on the loom of the mind from the fibre of thought. As dew is drawn upwards in rain to descend, your thoughts drift away and in destiny blend. You cannot escape them, for petty or great, or evil or noble, they fashion your fate. Somewhere on some planet, sometime and somehow, your life will reflect your thoughts of your now. My law is unerring, and no blood can atone. The structure you built you will live in alone. From cycle to cycle, through time and through space, your lives with your longings will ever keep pace. And all that you ask for, and all you desire, must come at your bidding as flame out of fire. Once listen to that voice, and all tumult is done. Your life is the life of the Infinite One. In the hurrying race you are conscious of pause, with love for your purpose and love for your cause. You are your own devil, you are your own God. You fashioned the paths that your footsteps have trod, and no one can save you from error or sin until you have harked to your spirit within. So that poem I've read time and time again, and I have a different experience each time I read it, or especially reading it out. And for me, it's comforting because it reminds us we're on an eternal journey, that this life is part of a bigger picture. But when you realise that this life is so important that you actually went through the difficulties of incarnating on it, we end up questioning where we came from and where we're going, rather than thinking about why we're here in the first place. But reincarnation is a difficult subject for a lot of people because they don't know how to talk about it or prove it. It's something that we all feel inside, but we don't have the proof to say that it's real. But we do now. So before I go on, I'll do a terrible job of repeating what they've said, but the University of Virginia did a 50-year study into reincarnation and published their findings about 4 years ago. You can go on YouTube and there's a video about an hour long where they present their findings far better than I could ever do it. So I'll lean on them for authenticity. But I look at it from a more sort of down-to-earth spiritual view. How many times you wake up every morning and you've been dreaming? And when you first wake up, that dream is very vivid and you can remember the details in it. By the time you're on your way to work, you've forgotten half of it. And by the time you tell your friend on your lunch break, all you've remembered is the meaning behind it and the main characters. The rest of the details have faded away. And I believe that when we pass over and we wake up without our bodies, we have a similar experience. We remember the fine details to begin with in our life review, but all that we really take from our lives once we move on is the meaning behind it and the main characters. And after a while, I'm sure our loved ones in the spirit world just move on beyond that life completely. That's why some of them don't communicate with us. It's not that they don't want to, It's just they've probably moved on. They've had that moment where they realised what their lessons were in life, and their soul has moved on to something new. But when we look at different attitudes towards reincarnation, especially as people who've got a Christian sentiment, we look to the Bible and they say, well, reincarnation's not in there. But it's in there by default. Because there's a point where Jesus is talking to his disciples and he's asking them if they know who he is. Because the Bible's full of prophecy. So we call them prophets because they come along and they say stuff. Everyone rejects it and says that's ridiculous. They die or they're persecuted and killed, and then many years later they realise they were right, and these people had a deeper insight. They could see prophecy, they could tell what the future is going to bring. So once it's realised that they were correct, then they put their books in the Bible retrospectively. And so there were many books talking about a Messiah to come. And when Jesus came, they questioned him, quite rightly too, and they said, well, who do you think you are? And he said, who do you think I am? And they thought he was Elijah, because Elijah was supposed to come and pave the way for the new Messiah. And Jesus pointed out to them that they were wrong. John the Baptist was Elijah, but they rejected him, just as they were going to reject him as the Messiah. What Jesus didn't do was correct them and tell them that reincarnation is not possible. He pointed out where their mistakes were, but none of them were to do with reincarnation. Because everyone at the time just took it as a given. Yes, we come back. People have that remembering, so they can remember their past lives. They know it's a reality. And somewhere along the line, we stopped having that recall of our past lives, and we come to this earth completely blank, a clean slate, ready to write our new story. But there are people who come to the earth with special gifts. Mozart, people like Beethoven, they could play the piano from a young age with very little instruction, and were quite superior musicians and composers to everyone around them. So we can understand that they probably had several lives leading up to that one where they worked on their musical skills and attributes. And some people can sit there and draw someone's likeness with a pencil without any training quite perfectly. They would do good to still go and learn art and use different mediums to work with, watercolours, oils, sculpture. But that latent talent is there already. So I don't have that talent, so I have to go and learn how to draw. And I can sit there for hours and I can get better and better, but I don't have that innate natural gift that some people just have. So it's clear that my past lives were doing something other than art or music. I'm not tone deaf, but it would be a long way to being able to play the piano as well as someone who's got a natural gift. But these point to the fact that there's something about your life that you've been building up to. Whatever your talents are, they've been developed and honed by your soul on a bigger journey than just these 70 odd plus years, if we're lucky, that we get. But these 70 odd plus years we get are the culmination of a life's work, a spiritual life. A life that may have taken 10, 20 lifetimes for you to arrive at this point. And we know from our ideas of reincarnation that after this life we're going to carry on learning, growing and improving. That it doesn't matter how hard we work in this life, there's going to be another opportunity to work even harder and push things even further forward. So just because you don't feel that you're going to achieve in this lifetime what you think you want to, it doesn't mean you're not working towards something bigger. And it is unknown as well. We don't always know exactly what the goal is we're working towards. We're just guided by the need to do something. We find the things that are passionate about and that we love. And there's no goal-orientated thing around it. We're doing it because we love it. We're doing it because our heart wouldn't allow us to do anything else. Other people might laugh at what you're doing because it's not their cup of tea. But as long as you're doing what fills your heart with passion, as long as something that means so much to you that you're willing to do anything for it gets hold of you, then you know you are living your own truth, that you're working towards whatever it is your soul's come here to do. And no two people are the same. not even from the same family. You can have people in the same family, even twins, who are uniquely gifted in different ways. You are not the environment you're in. You can choose to improve yourself no matter where you are. If you are born into a poverty-stricken family, you can still make something of yourself. But you can also have some compassion for people who are born into money or power. And you look at them and they don't seem that happy. They're still struggling with life. Well, I had a conversation the other day, we were talking about Prince William. You know, he was born into a very difficult set of circumstances that I would hate to be born in. I'd hate to be told exactly how to stand, where to go, what to wear. And even though he seems like he's been born into this affluent family and he's got all the power in the world, he can't even choose what to wear without someone telling him that he should change this or change that, that the symbolism should reflect this and what have you. So every time someone is born into this world with their mind blank, they've got no memory of their past lives, you'll soon realise you've got traits, strengths and weaknesses. And you can start making sense of your soul as it is, not as your body is capable of, but what your mind is capable of. People can rise to challenges from adversity so much easier than those people who are born without too many challenges. And it's nice to think that you get a life that's a restful life, that you might not be making much progress in something in this life, but this life is one for you to experience joy and rest and recuperation, whilst other people seem to be having nothing but challenges. So we can have a little bit of sympathy for each other. Just because someone's having it easy doesn't mean that they haven't suffered as a soul, that something in their past life was so bad that they needed to have a lifetime of rest to understand the earth without so many problems in their life. And I used to resent those people because I thought that their challenges were so few and mine so great that it seemed unfair, that somehow someone made a mistake and I should have been born in a different lifetime, with a different body. But it's quite natural because we have those every morning when we wake up and we're no longer in that lovely dream we were in and we've got to face reality again. And sometimes we're grateful we've come out of that dream because it was so bad and so disturbing that we're glad it's over. Or think of our loved ones in the spirit world and think of yourself. When we pass over, we're going to have the same moment. But that moment can be determined by what we do in this life. If we engage with ourselves as spirits and we realise that we're part of a bigger story, we can find deeper meaning in the life we've got. We can see a purpose to our work, even if there may not be a goal. And we can find a lot of strength in that. And we can also make sure that when we pass over, we haven't got the attachments to the earth plane that we've built up. Silly things like smoking and drinking. If you have an addiction, when you pass over, you won't be able to satisfy that addiction. So people try to rid themselves of those addictions before they pass over, rather than trying to deal with it when they do. And they don't have to be physical addictions like that. It could be just the way you behave, the way you deal with people. Learning to love people unconditionally before we pass over, so it's easier to do it when we do. Because mediumship shows us that our ancestors, our grandparents, our great-grandparents are still around us. And why didn't they move on? How come they're still attached to you on the earth plane? And the simple answer is they love you. Even though you've not met them, they love your grandparents because they were their parents, etc. And that love connection's keeping the bond going. And that's not a bad thing because it's not like they're deciding they can't move on. They're waiting to move on together in a soul group with you. They're turning back, looking back behind them to the earth plane and seeing that we do need guidance, we do need help. And we've all got guides that walk with us, that have probably had lives with us in other situations. And rather than moving on, they're turning back and saying, no, I need to lend a hand on the earth plane still. They're not leaving us behind. They're turning their love and thoughts towards us and trying to lift us up because they know we need it and it's part of their progression as well. So when you have that example, you can look around at the earth plane people that are struggling behind us. And we can lend a hand to them because we're able to. Rather than just thinking about yourself and where you're going in life, you look around and see there are people struggling just behind you. But being spiritual, you know that they're your brothers and sisters. Even spiritual people recognise that their children aren't necessarily their children, but just younger brothers and sisters that need their help to grow, to help them, guide them so that they can take on this life by themselves. Give them all the tools and necessary ideas for them to move forward. And it makes us conscious of every little word we say to people, especially our children. Because we don't just feed ourselves with food, we feed ourselves with words, with pictures and emotions. So it's important we have to be the example we want to set to others. And it's not easy, but it's made easier when you realise your spiritual authority. That you've been born into this world for a particular reason that no one else but you could be tasked with. You've been born with the environment and the set of tools particular to you to do what it was God wanted you to do. And although it might not seem like a big, great, holy mission in life, it may just be to bring your children up right, to be there for people who live around you, and mostly to look at yourself as a spiritual being, to love yourself as you'd love your own children, and to have that moment to realise that the only real relationship in the universe is between you and your Creator. And when you realise you are the Creator, and you're creating the life that's going to come towards you from the thoughts of your now, it very quickly changes the way you think. It very quickly reminds you not to get sucked into depression and to negativity, but to choose the life you want, full of love, companionship, and forward thinking, rather than stuck in the old ways where you're constantly thinking about what other people think about you, thinking how the family comes across to other people. Instead, you just worry about what example you're setting for your children and your children's children. Because the world we leave behind is the one we're going to incarnate into again and again in the future. And maybe that's a selfish way of looking at it, but for some people, it might be the only way they're going to think about it. You're not just leaving a world for your children, you're leaving a world for yourself as well. What kind of world are you going to reincarnate into in the future? And I'll leave you with that. Thank you.
Thank you, Stephen. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Plenty there to take away and think about. And that is exactly what spiritualism is about. It's about empowering each other and ourselves. So thank you for that. The next piece of music is more of a meditative, contemplative style music. It's something you can listen to. The words are there in purple on your sheet if you wish to join in. But it's also a wonderful time when you can just be in this energy, in this place. This service is created by all you lovely people. Stephen doesn't make it, I don't make it, the building doesn't make it, your presence makes it. So just to imbibe and imbue in that energy that we've created here today, and invite in those loved ones, invite in those ones who've gone ahead of us. They may be heard during the mediumship, but they will always make their presence known. So just enjoy the next piece of music. Sounds like an order. You are free to enjoy the next piece of music.
Troubles come and my heart burden be, then I am still and wait here in the silence until you come and sit a while with me. You raise me up so I can
once more, I will hand over to Stephen for the demonstration of evidential mediumship. Please do not forget the exercise we began this service with. Stephen, sir, over to you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Well, good morning, everyone. So I see in my mind, hear in my mind, feel in my being, and sometimes I've got two people at the same time and I'm not realising this. So you'll be the one that can help me separate them and work out who they are. So I do need yes, no, or I don't know. And please don't feed me too much information because I will cheat. It's hard not to. Right. So I've got a lady with me and I'm being drawn to the two ladies there. And the lady, I feel like mum and daughter here, okay? But the lady, okay, well the lady I've got with, I'm a bit confused with her because she feels like father's mother, but I don't know quite how if it's a mother-in-law or, do you know what I mean? There's a slight separation. I do feel with the blonde lady there, and if this either feels like father's mother or a mother-in-law, if you know what I mean. I don't know which one you took good care of. This is, I'm feeling you sort of looked out for them, would pop round and check on them, and did some organising to get them the care they needed, okay? But it wasn't a hands-on caring approach, but you organised it, if that makes sense. Or involved in organising it.
Yeah.
Okay. Right. And I do feel, unless I've got both a mother-in-law and father's mother here, but I'm just feeling this sort of connection. So father's mother, I'm feeling, was quite a sort of, we're going back a little bit as well, she feels very old-fashioned, okay, and father, he was a good straight up man, but I think when he was a child he was quite, okay, she's saying difficult, but I think, so your father had siblings and out of them he was quite a standout character, that's how I'm feeling.
Yes.
Okay. And so father's mum, she said she had more arguments and sleepless nights with him than out of all the other siblings.
Yeah.
Okay. But he was a very capable man and he grew up to actually become the apple of her eye. Does that make sense?
I'm quite unsure about this.
Okay. Right. So the way she's making me feel, your father turned out all right when she actually worried that he'd struggle because he was quite opinionated and a very strong character. So I think she's being very nice here as well.
Right.
Okay.
I don't know if it is with me. I'm not sure.
Would you say she's describing your father as when he was younger?
From what I've heard
Right,
about
okay.
him, yeah.
I just, I feel like there's quite a lot she's putting very nicely because she had a rough time with him, basically, right? And he would have been quite a character and very sure of himself and difficult with people, okay? Now, grandmother's telling me that because she's quite proud of how he ended up when he, he learnt his lesson, she's saying. And a lesson mums can't teach sons because they love them too much. But he ended up learning his lesson. So you would know father had his lessons in life. So where I'm not feeling such a strong, I take it you didn't know grandma very well.
This is different. I had two fathers.
Right, okay.
One I didn't know about, the real father.
Okay,
The other one
right.
was adopted.
So this lady, the way she's describing, you know which father that she's talking about, the blood relation I'm feeling.
What I
Okay,
learned from a cousin.
right. This lady, she would have been very old school, and I'm even seeing quite almost Victorian style clothing. So I take it she's from another era, and he might have been quite young in the family, but became, how do I say, the most potent of the brothers and sisters.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Right. And she's making me feel, you know, she was far too busy to even bring the children up. They mostly brought themselves up and brought each other up. She was too busy making ends meet, she's saying. She's quite well dressed for someone who I feel was stuck working in the workhouses and the factories, and you know, she's showing me how hard life was. It was pretty. So they're showing me quite an industrial area where you've got a lot of these terraces with the back alleys and things like that, and she's taking me there. Everyone's washing's out on the street, the toilets out in the street, and it was a very different time. And so she's saying that the way she had to bring this gentleman up, your father, would have been one of the reasons why he was the way he was. Tough, over tough people. And she's saying she was pretty tough as well. So she wasn't very motherly, and that probably showed with her son. Right. I mean, with that, she's also saying how lovely it is to see your family as it is now. That everything, you know, the world as it is now, but your family especially. And it's trying to, you don't really want to be the central hub, but you've been kind of stuck in that position. You've become the matriarch without having to really want it. Okay. She's saying you're far too easygoing, but luckily the going is quite easy around you. Everyone pitches in and does their bit, and there's something about is there a young man that's gone to university? Okay, well I'll let that go. They're just showing me a young man that's getting his degrees. I'm going to leave her love with you. I think okay. It's like that the father is there as well, but I think she was giving a description which is easier to take. Okay, and God bless you. Well, they gave me a nice easy one to start with then. I've got a gentleman coming, and he sort of seemed quite reluctant at first, but then he's jumped right in, and he feels like a father, and he really wants to take me straight to this gentleman here.
That's your
Okay.
Stephen.
Okay, I think I've got your father here. Okay, I've got some heart issues, fluttering in my heart. I'm not sure if that's what took me, but it was an issue for me. I'm a very happy-go-lucky chap most of the time. Can you understand that with father?
Yes.
Okay, and I really, I should really have been a bit of a loner because I didn't need anyone, but I knew everyone, and I would go up and talk to anyone, have a laugh with them, and some people might have found me a bit annoying, but I wasn't really. I would just go up and talk to people, and if they were rushing around, what's the rush? Slow down, enjoy life a little bit. That was how he was, you know. He wasn't being rude. He just saw people in a rush and thought, where's the rush? Where are you running to? You know, that's the sort of feeling I've got with this gentleman. But I feel like he did teach you to be motivated. You know, he wasn't a hard man, but he would be encouraging. Is that true?
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
okay. And I'm seeing him with a stick later in life, but I've sort of got it, I've got used to using it. I can walk without it, but I'm starting to use it as well. Nice wooden rounded stick that he's got, but I just feel this, he was still quite a fast-paced gentleman. He was always out and about, rushing around, but I don't know, it seems like he was never actually going anywhere or doing anything, just chatting to people. He loved being outdoors, but he wasn't a gossip. You know, he would genuinely check how you were, but he wouldn't then go tell anyone else what you told him. He was too busy asking everyone how they were. So he knew everyone, but he never really gossiped. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes.
Right, he's okay. There's a lot of fun with this man, but he'd make his own fun as well. you know, he was quite happy in his own company, but he would try to get everyone together and play games. And I don't know if there was some songs he used to try get everyone to sing together, but it feels like he gave up trying because he kept trying to get everyone around and no one really could be bothered to learn the songs. Okay. Right. Did he take you along to the Boy Scouts or something like that?
In the Boys' Brigade,
Right. Okay.
blow a trumpet.
Right. Yeah, because it wasn't quite the Scouts, and I was trying to work out in my head what it was, but so that's what he was talking about. Okay. He wasn't a particularly tall man. I feel you were even taller than he was, and he's got a very sweet looking face. You know, the smile's almost permanent on him, and he's quite slim. He's not a large man, I'm seeing him now as he's getting a bit older. He's got the same trousers on, but he's lost a lot of weight, so his clothes are hanging off him a little bit. Okay. But he still feels quite active and quite positive and, well, he's saying sprightly. Okay. And he's obviously very proud of you in your life, and how he's telling me how determined you've had to be. Okay, so he's saying he's sitting there looking quite healthy now, but you've come through a bit of a rough patch and you've come out the other side, he's telling me. I don't want to open it up publicly, but this is how he's putting it across. Okay. And he's got a lot of concern over your feet. You know, he wants to put a lot of healing on there for you. And he's showing, I don't know, it's a bag of marbles. I don't know quite how symbolically it is, because I feel he kept his mind together, but he's showing me this bag of marbles and they're all falling out. So I'm not sure if that's a memory or he's talking about this symbolically anyway. Okay. Because he was quite funny, so he'd make a joke out of things. You know, people got too serious, he would tell a slightly inappropriate joke just to get the humour in the room, because he just thought life was too short to be serious all the time. Okay. So obviously, I'm sensing with you, you've got a similar sense of humour, probably not quite as bad as him, but yeah, he quite enjoys the way your mind works. Okay. And he's telling me you were very much your mother's child. Although he was quite an influence on you, Mum brought you up really, and he looks at you and sees your mum in you, you know, and he loves you even more because of it. You know, he must have really loved your mum. I don't know how much she was able to tolerate him. I think they had their moments, but they were very loyal to each other, you know, and Dad especially. That was his family. He feels like it's the only family I was ever going to have. I love them so dearly. I'm so glad that I had the opportunity to be in their life. And he likes the opportunity to still be in your life now. He's telling me, don't worry, he'll be there, but Mum will be the first one to greet you when you sit with Spirit or when you pass over. But he's not going to be far behind her. I feel Mum was quite spiritually minded, very much, and she probably, I feel even with the tea leaves, okay? Whereas Dad probably wasn't so confident with spiritual things, he was open-minded, but Mum was the one who really had the gift, didn't she? Okay. I don't know if she actually worked as a medium. Okay, oh right. Okay. Yeah, I feel this lady now. And she's actually almost as tall as him, if not a bit taller than Dad. Okay, and she's making me stand up a little bit straighter. She's got a very nice voice, and I feel she would sing as well. She would have been singing to the hymn. Okay. And she's, the love in her heart, she was so warm, and she brought everyone into the family home. She would cook for everyone, check up on everyone. And people didn't mind, but they mind their P's and Q's in her company, didn't they? And I'm talking everyone around, watched what they said in front of Mum, because she held this authority, didn't she? Okay. And she knew stuff as well. You couldn't pass anything by her because she instantly had the answer. Okay. Right. I don't know if there's a book or something that you're reading at the moment, or that used to be Mum's.
I'm reading some spiritual books.
Right. Okay. I think she's obviously there while you're reading, or there's one in particular that I think she's either read or owned that I'm trusting her. She's put in your path somewhere recently, so hopefully when you pick that book up, you'll realise, you'll feel her come close. So I'll leave her love with you, and Dad's as well. Yeah. And Dad, it's if he's just grabbing your cheek, giving it a little, rosing it up a little bit, and just saying, "That's my lad." Okay. So I'll leave your love with him. Dad was a bit tongue-tied. I feel like, I don't know if there's a stutter, get his words back to front.
It could be. You have to
Okay.
watch his P's and Q's.
Yeah, I feel like I've just, I want to say things backwards almost, and it was quite a struggle because I think he was trying to slip me up more than anything else. So God bless you all.
Bless you. See you.
Okay. Oh, I just feel a whole group of ladies coming in all at once, and so I've got like Mum, Auntie, Grandma, and I'm asking them very nicely to all just separate, and they're ignoring me completely. So I just, yeah, I know you'll enjoy this one. Okay, I am being drawn to the lady at the back with the red hair. I know I came to you with your father another time before, but I feel this is the ladies in the family, and there was a lot of them, wasn't there? Okay. It's Mum's side of the family, but it wasn't just that. It was also the. I mean, you must have had 100 aunties. Only half of them you're related to. Okay, but they all feel like they took a great interest in you and the family and bringing you up, and they all talked to you like an adult from a young age. You were included in everything. Okay, see. Okay, right. I'm seeing the battle of the recipe books. Okay, and yeah, okay, right, and they're all turning up with these very thick books filled with their own recipes, cuttings from newspapers, and they're all guarding them very closely. They don't leave them lying around, but they're all showing off how many recipes they've got. Okay, although I feel Mum especially, it's there. You don't see her on her own very often. There's always this 2 or 3 at the very least. Okay. And Dad is just sort of standing back going, "Yep, this is what I've had to put up with." And he's tapping his fingers, but he's laughing because I'm trying so hard to communicate with Mum, but she's surrounded by these ladies, and I feel that you would have had to wait your moment. You don't interrupt. You wait until they finish speaking, and then you sort of, pull Mum's apron and get her attention. Okay. But I feel Mum really was just this very enigmatic character that drew people in close to her, and she had a lot of very close friends. Okay. And I feel there's a bit of a running joke. All of her friends were dying off, and she's looking after them. And it's like, is Mum just going to live forever, or should we get people to look after her as well, Because she just seemed very capable right up until pretty much the day she passed away. Okay. And she was quite, I don't know about religious, but prayerful, because I'm sensing her praying not to be a burden on anyone, And when you think how much she did for people, how she could even think that it was bizarre. Okay, but she every day she was grateful not to be a burden on anyone, which is kind of what drove her to do what she did. Okay. So there's like a bit of a running joke between Mum and Dad. Dad is very philosophical, very practical, And Mum is very bright, but she doesn't care. She cares about people. She cares about nice things, everything being right, and if it's not, what we're going to do to fix it. So she's not worried about the intellectual conversation. She's worried about people's lives, you know. Which balanced Mum and Dad out quite a bit, because Dad would worry about the meaning behind a person's life without caring so much about it. But he really did learn, and I think the marriage that they had brought out the best in him. So I feel a lot of love coming from them. They've communicated. They haven't got much to say to someone who's, what they're saying is, all right as you are. You know, you don't need any real guidance. You're doing enough as you are, more than most. So they're quite proud of what it is you're doing, but you're quite reserved, aren't you? So, okay, God bless you. I feel like I've got another mum coming close to me. I'm feeling, she just wants me to take straight to the lady that, yes, okay. And I feel mum in the spirit world, and there's a similarity. Like, I couldn't even look around the room because you look so much like her, okay. And she, you know, you're still mother and daughter, but as you grew closer, more like-minded people, okay. And you know, it's too respectful to say like sisters, because she was still mum and you were still daughter. She's telling me that there was a time when you did struggle a little bit and you turned to her for advice, and she pointed out to you how much more you've already done with your life than she did by her age, and it kind of made you feel a bit better. Okay. And it was a lovely conversation, because she feels quite emotional with that. I think she was so proud of you. But to know that you were still doubting yourself, you know, it kind of hurt her and it gave her tears. She's like, oh no, you've already done more than I have, you know. Okay. And she's, this lady, I just want peace. I didn't like too much noise. I didn't mind music, but I just needed my own calm sanctuary every day, you know. And I like popping out and meeting people, but I didn't do town centres for very long, and you know, and I'm feeling the same with yourself as well. You know, she's saying the similarities, you know, that actually what she's saying is, even as you grow older, you're going to notice, you know, not that it's a bad thing, but you'll change more and more into your mother, and in a good way. So she just feels so quiet and so reserved, but she just liked her life the way she liked it. She was quite happy and content, you know, and she found a lot of peace, especially later on. Okay? Because, you know, as much as she was quite an easygoing person, okay, when life dealt her some of the difficult challenges, she really struggled, because it was just, that's when it was too much for her. And she wishes she had a bit more fortitude, but that's not how God made her, and she's happy with that now. But at the time, it was a lot of anxiety on her. So she's making me feel quite glad that you're a bit tougher than she is, but still like to have the nice peaceful life that she always dreamed of. Right, she's I don't know if it's her old front room, because it feels like you've made a change, and she likes the changes you've made. So I don't know if it's your own, but also feel that, you know, her place got changed and she didn't mind. It was a way of letting go. Because she must have been very, very house proud. She had it just the way she wanted it. And then when she passed over, it was like, oh no, my beautiful place, you know, but she very quickly got used to it, you know, and moved on. She's, I don't know if they're a boy and a girl, younger children, and she's just, you know, putting her hands through their hair. She loves these two, and they're like chalk and cheese, but made to grow up together, you know. And she's saying that they're actually, considering that they're
they're very different to each other. They love spending time in each other's company. Okay, like brother and sister. And they fight like brother and sister, but they will be very strong all their life. Okay, it's a nice little bond. She loves that because I don't know if there was if she was an only child, but it just feels.
She wasn't, but I know what you mean.
Okay, yeah. She just loves that bond being there. Okay. She showed me as she got a lot older, it was her eyesight that really affected her the most. And I don't know if she started trying to learn to read in Braille, but what I'm feeling is that her other senses she relied on more, so touch especially. And so she was, I've just got this feeling of her having to sort of trying to reach out for something and missing it a lot, and she's starting to get a little bit upset with herself. But this is where the support that came in, she feels just overwhelmed with love, because she, just as she needed someone, they were there without her even asking. Okay. I've come to the end of this message then.
She loved Hawaiian music as well.
Aloha. God bless you.
Wonderful, Stephen. Thank you, sir. Few notices for the week. Monday evening, here live in the church, we have our healing development evening. This is, we'd ask that the registered healers of the church, if you're here for 7 o'clock, those wishing to receive healing any time after 7:15, please. The healing development nights will always be on the 2nd and 4th Monday of the month, despite which year you're looking at. Lawrence, the healers will understand what I've just said. Wednesday, 3 o'clock, we have a divine style service, which is the same format as we've seen today, and that's with Phyllis Rumney. Next Sunday is our Remembrance Day service. We will be starting slightly earlier. We will be starting at 10:50 in the morning. This is so we can incorporate the 2-minute silence at 11 a.m. So just remember that next Sunday, 10:50 start. If you are running a little bit late, do not worry. The doors will be manned, but we will not allow admittance just during the silence. But if we are overrunning, absolutely fine. Don't panic and fret. On our online activities, we have Saturday morning at 9 a.m. and Monday night 7 p.m. We have a short guided meditation. And this Saturday coming at 7 p.m. we have an evening with Malcolm Robinson from Scotland, and he'll be talking about the books that he's just recently released on the Socky poltergeist, on UFOs, and a very well documented haunting case in Ireland. So just interesting to hear from Derek of his slant on that. We are so blessed at this church. We've got some beautiful people who so just do things, and I love it. I absolutely love it. Are you all right to come up on platform, Sarah? Yes. Yeah. Bring it in. And I love the way the Spirit works. Sarah here is an absolute beautiful, beautiful, beautiful lady. And I know quite a few people have been saying that they haven't been able to find poppies at this time. So not coincidentally, because it's engineered by Spirit, Sarah has been making little crochet poppy badges. So if anybody wishes to purchase one, please do. All the monies from these and from the service next week will be going to the Veterans Forge, which is an establishment over near Wareham, and it's for the rehabilitation and well-being of all service people, either serving or suffering from PTSD. Sarah here has also been charged. She will be decorating the platform next week for us for our Remembrance Day, so thank you, darling. So if you'd like to purchase a poppy, remember 100% of the monies go to the Veterans Forge. Please leave the lovely Sarah after the service. So thank you. Thank you, darling. All that leaves me to ask now is to ask the wonderful Stephen for the closing blessing. Thank you, Sarah.
Divine and gracious Spirit, we thank you for bringing us all together today, for bringing our loved ones close to us, to inspire us, to give proof of their survival, and proof of their love and guidance. And we ask that you bless us with the insights to realise that we are spirit, and that we move through the spirit world and have an effect on the spirits around us, our brothers and sisters that walk the earth plane with us. And we ask that we can be of benefit to them, to provide them with healing, love and companionship while we go through these difficult times. We ask you see us all home safe. Amen.
Amen. Stephen, thank you so much. Absolutely wonderful service. Thank you everybody for attending today. Go forth and have a wonderful day. The sun's out. Make the most of it each and every day. And if you're purchasing or thinking of purchasing a poppy but you haven't got any cash, do not worry. We do have a card machine available also. Cash, cheques and credit cards. Have a wonderful day everybody. Enjoy. Thank you for being here.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.